What a joy to be able to serve with you today, a life-giving lesson. I read recently where Albert Einstein made this statement: only a life lived in the service to others is worth living. Then I read recently also Philippians 2 and 4, a verse in the scripture that probably most of us have read many times. But it says, let each of you look not only for his own interest, but also for the interest of others. When I thought about that, doesn't mean that we failed to think about what's important to us personally, but it also means that we're to have other people's interests at heart. I think about even from the very beginning of time in the days of Cain and Abel. It was the Lord that asked Cain the question, where is your brother? Where is Abel, your brother? Cain replied and said, I do not know. Am I my brother's keeper? Well, in reality, we are our brother's keeper. We do have responsibility to those around us. We have responsibility to have their interests at heart. That doesn't just mean our children or our family or our wife or our husband, but it really means even our neighbor, or even our co-worker, even that person that works with us or goes to church with us and worships with us. I began to think about people that I thought had other people's interests at heart. I thought about the story of Todd Morgan Beamer. You know the story. Many of you probably heard it. He was at one of those passengers of many on Flight 93 that was hijacked on September the 11th, where many hundreds and hundreds of people lost their lives. But as he was on that plane, and there's a lot of versions to that story, but the best I understand it, as he was on that plane and they began to get word, as people began to realize they was being hijacked, and they began to get word from their other family members as they began to make phone calls back to their family, that there had already been a couple of incidents where many lives had been lost. And people on that plane, including Todd, realized that most likely these hijackers, that there's a purpose way beyond just destroying the people on this plane. It's really to take this plane into an area to destroy hundreds and maybe even thousands of lives. Todd and others began to think, and no doubt began to have other people's interests at heart, people they didn't even know. And it was Todd. I think it was Todd that made the phone call or attempted to make the phone call back home. And he reached a airphone supervisor by the name of Lisa Jefferson. He began to share with her what was going on the plane, that the plane had been hijacked. The story is told that he prayed the Lord's Prayer and quoted the 23rd song. And as he did that, Lisa said later that she could hear people in the background joining in with him, praying the Lord's Prayer and quoting the 23rd song. As Todd finished that, he told Lisa, he said, listen, if I don't make it, call my family and let them know that I love them. I don't know about you, but when I read this story over and over again, it just really brings attention to the fact that Todd really had other people's interests at heart. And then Lisa said, I heard Todd say, are you ready? Okay, let's roll. And then they began to take action. And they began to jump the hijackers in hopes of maybe saving other people's lives. The moral of the story is today that the life-giving principle in serving forward is having other people's interests at heart. That really means more than just those people around us. Sometimes that means people that we know nothing about. In fact, I think that in serving forward, we could think of it in this fashion, because all of us as born-again believers, as people that loves Jesus, as people that loves Christ, as we serve in whatever area that God has called us to serve, things that you do today will make a difference tomorrow and generations to come. In that way, you're serving forward. And so, again, I ask a couple of questions today in this life-giving principle of serving forward. How can we better serve others? In serving forward, well, the way to do that is how that interest at heart. And so when I begin to think about people that I'm around, I think about our conversation. And so really, I believe that even the words we say in serving forward is so important that we choose the words. It was Mark Twain that said that the difference between the right word and the almost right word is the difference between lighten and the lightened bulb. It is so important that we say the right things to have people's interests at heart. And then I thought about other ways that we could serve others by serving forward. I think about even when we began to talk with people, we realize needs that they have. We share things with them, things that are tangible, things that are intangible. Things like a book that may have words of encouragement to that person, instructions, something that may help that person. Or it may just be something intangible like a smile, like maybe encouraging words that they can't physically touch, but they know that you have served forward by having their best interest in heart. You see, having somebody's best interest in heart doesn't mean that we tell them the things they want to hear. Oftentimes it means that we tell them the things that they need to hear. And so today, again, a couple of questions you need to ask yourself and maybe even discuss as you view this video and maybe even view it with others. You may want to ask the question, when is the last time you did something for someone because you was looking after their best interests? Do they really appreciate what you did? Are there patterns that you see in doing that as you begin to show interest in someone else, then they began to show interest in others? I think about even the very simple analogy. You ever notice when you go into a place of business and there's someone walking in behind you, if you hold the door for them, most likely they're going to turn around and hold the door for the person behind them. That's serving forward in a very simple matter. But I just encourage you, find ways to have people's best interests at heart and serve forward. Remember, you'll never come in second in life when you put the needs of others first. May God bless you.